Look at that. You gotta spray it with water. Good morning! It is Saturday and it's 10:25. So it is what it is. I laid in bed. I woke up at like 9 because we had a little pizza date night last night, and we went to the beach after and meditated, chilled, and we got home. We just stayed up late. And I also have 2 glasses of wine, and I haven't been drinking. 1, because I just haven't been feeling like it. 2, because I'm on a cut and I just wanted to see faster progress. And yeah, so I had 2 glasses of wine yesterday. I'm definitely gonna have a cocktail today. It just be like that. And I'm also making progress in my cut, so I feel like now is like I can definitely have a weekend where I drink a little bit. It's fine. And yeah, so today, we're gonna go work out of a cafe, but first, gotta eat breakfast because I'm not spending money there. Cafe foods don't hit for me, like, they just don't. So I'm gonna make some breakfast here. Then I'm going to make a little coffee, bring it with me, and go work at a cafe. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit of client check-ins, what that looks like, and also just like as a full-time online coach, like how I personally like to go about it. Because at the end of the day, you're hiring a coach not just to hold you accountable, but to also help you find solutions for the areas that you're struggling in. And if you're struggling with being consistent in a certain area, a lot of the times it's us, but sometimes it's not. And a lot of times we blame it on ourselves, but really there's other things like low energy, you know, you don't really know how to navigate a certain time constraint, whatever the case may be. So let's get ready. So I'm gonna put my contacts in, get myself together, and then we're gonna make some moves. When it comes to the weekends, a lot of my clients, and including myself in the beginning, I used to stress out because I really had like an all or nothing mindset when it came to the weekends. I really didn't know, like, I was like, okay, well, being on track looks like this during the week, and so if I'm not doing what I'm doing during the week on the weekend, then I'm off track, right? A lot of the times this is really because I was just drinking hella with friends, eating whatever, Taco Bell runs after. And that's when I was like in my party girl era, and I'm not gonna lie, like it is very difficult to like reach any real like fat loss or muscle building goals if you're in like your party girl era, where maybe you're drinking 7+ drinks a weekend, because we all know that when we drink, what comes after? You're grubbing, bitch. Like you're not going home and eating no fucking macro balanced meal. But there absolutely is a way to stay relatively on track and still see progress. And so what I have my clients do is focus on their core 4. Okay, so this would be hydration or water, movement or steps or the gym, however that looks like for you. Your protein, so out of all the macros, you gonna get in your carbs and fats just fine. Focus on your protein. So I'll have most girls shoot for like minimum 100 grams protein over the weekends. And then of course, macros. So, you know, your micronutrients, your greens, your fruits, your veggies, colorful plates, because it's getting in those foods that are going to support your digestion, the way that you feel, and, you know, just, you know, your appetite and all of the things. So, you know, today, obviously I'm going to an event later. I'm definitely gonna have a cocktail. I'm not sure if we're going to eat there or anything like that. We may or may not, so I'm gonna leave room for that in my macros. But I'm definitely gonna have breakfast here. I'm definitely gonna have a double scoop protein shake with some banana, some peanut butter, some oats to get in more fibers, healthy fats, and more protein. And other than that, I'm just gonna drink a lot of water and get movement outside, go on a walk, and things like that. And that's really, you know, focusing on what is within our control. if we're always like stressing about things that are not within our control, then that's when we kind of have like this all or nothing mindset. So I literally got blisters from blowing my nose so much. This happens every time I'm sick. But yeah, let's go make a breakfast now. The worst thing is when you go to make breakfast and you realize I need groceries. And I'm not a fan. I don't want eggs plain. I want eggs with vegetables. All right, let's go. Okay, I just had my breakfast. It was so good. I feel so amped up and ready now to get into client check-ins. What I love about client check-ins is it gives me an opportunity as a coach to, you know, again, help my clients find solutions to areas that they might be struggling in. And also give them reassurance where needed, especially when it comes to things like the scale, or feeling like they're not doing enough, or whatever the case may be. And that's pretty much my job as a coach. That's my job, is to hold them accountable, but to also let them know that this is a space where perfection is not allowed, because perfection doesn't exist. And if we want to make progress in our journey, we have to understand that there's going to be times where we intend to show up a certain way and we just flop. And we just have to understand, okay, well, where did that come from this week? Was I really relying on just what I felt like doing and what I didn't feel like doing, right? Was I, you know, needing mental rest? Am I going through shit where I have to where I don't have emotional bandwidth or energy, and, you know, I just needed to make adjustments? Whatever the case may be, that's what we do on client check-ins. So I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek, and then I say I want to work at a cafe. I do this all the time. I even told my boyfriend today, I was like, I'm gonna go work at a cafe. He's like, are you really though? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm not. It's just so much more comfortable in my house, and like I have an office, like whatever. And also I'm gonna be I talk really loud, so like I just don't want to be around people. Hey, happy Saturday, girl, and happy check-in day. First off, I want to say amazing job this week. You took all the feedback that I gave you in the last check-in and you executed. And guess what? We hit a new low weigh-in and you're looking significantly more tighter. With that being said, girl, so proud of you this week. Of course, stress is another big thing as well. And, you know, with PCOS, you know, we've really been able to dial things in. Our body loves consistency. It doesn't need to be constant, right? But the more consistency we can give our body in terms of protein and overall carbs and fats and like nutrient dense foods, the body responds so well. It's actually crazy how smooth progress can be when we're really just doing that extra little bit, that little effort that can really help us dial in on our protein and overall, you know, caloric intake of carbs and fats. So I want you to think about, what are some things that I can do to play a little bit less macro Tetris? At the end of the day, right, you know, planning is gonna be key. There is a video in the course that is called How to Build Out Your Own Meal Plan, and it takes you step 1, step 2, step 3, so that way you can actually take your protein and calories or your overall macros and break that down into each meal. We're on track, we're definitely on track with your workouts, with your nutrition. You're being more intentional with your steps, your water, and yeah, let's just keep it up, girl. So going into next week, so it's 2 o'clock, and I have 5 check-ins left. What the fuck? I have 5 check-ins left. When it comes to getting client check-ins done, it's all about focus and definitely giving your jaw a freaking break, because each check-in probably takes me, you know, 10 minutes to review their food logs, their nutrition, their training progression, you know, their habits, like how consistent are we being. Then I review over their form, and then it takes me around 10 minutes of talking and like my jaw. Again, on the weekends, as long as you're getting in your protein, right, and being intentional with that, It's so important to be present with your family, like not feeling guilty for eating certain things. And that is a huge win. That's why you started this journey, not just because you wanted to lose fat, build muscle, but also because you wanted to learn how to integrate it into a lifestyle. As we continue to make slow increases to your food, of course, you can continue to maintain that physique and just continue to build new lean muscle mass. I did it. It's 4:23 and I just finished all my check-ins. And I started at 12:30. So, but I love it. I wish every day I had a lot of check-ins. I do have some spots open on my roster. So again, if you are somebody who wants to lose fat, build muscle, heal your relationship with food, understand your nutrition on a deeper level than you ever have before, you want to take it to that next level, reach out to me for one-on-one coaching because spots will fill quickly. Gym time. Alrighty bitches, let's get into today's juicy motherfucking leg workout. This lower body lift had me feeling so fucking confident and strong and sexy. You want to make sure that we are doing our dynamic stretches before getting into any type of compound lifts. I didn't get to film that, so just always know that I am doing and prioritizing my warm-up. I used to never, but you know, after you get a few injuries, you start to take that shit seriously. So with that being said, y'all, we started off with some barbell squats. Now, when it comes to training barbell squats, specifically for me on the programming I'm on, I'm really focused on strength and depth. So that is personally a goal that I like to work on. So you don't necessarily need to have the most depth in your squat. What I mean by depth is how low you're able to go. Everybody has different anatomical structures, levels of mobility. But because I've been prioritizing my mobility so much more, I really do get enjoyment in my programming from not just squatting, but focusing on deep, controlled, strong squats like that. But I did around 4 sets of 6 to 8 reps. Now, at the time of filming this, I was getting over a cold, so I could not go as heavy as I usually could. So it's totally fine sometimes, guys, where you just get off of, being sick, or, you take some time out of the gym. You don't need to be pushing the same weight you once did. Sometimes, once you start to get back into the swing of things, it benefits you more mentally and physically just to focus on, still challenging weight, but always continuing to prioritize just, that mind-muscle connection, controlling the pace and the rate of movement, and just kind of gently pulling your body back into regular programming. Of course, nutrition has a big part to do with this as well. You definitely, I would say if you're getting back into the gym and you're getting back on track, try your best not to train fasted. Even if you train in the morning, like getting in some type of simple carbs like honey, banana, rice cake, cereal, like anything that you can just get down really quickly, at least like 30 to 40 minutes before your lift. That is going to help you actually have energy to push in your lifts. So although I was getting off from being sick, I did make sure that I was fueling my body properly and giving my body the proper carbs pre-workout to, of course, push, and recover. Next compound lift was barbell RDLs, or Romanian deadlifts. And I really like this movement because it just really trains the glutes in the lengthened position really well. Sometimes you might find that using dumbbells for RDLs makes a bigger difference for you. I find that I feel it pretty much the same in both. Some cues that I really like when it comes to barbell Romanian deadlifts is, honestly, you want to think about, when we think about pushing our hips back, we want to think about almost like we are pushing an open car door closed with groceries in our hands, right? But then obviously slow it down. Honestly, filming yourself doing these movements is a really great way to continue to learn and improve your form over time. You should never get too confident. I would say I'm pretty advanced in my training, and I'm always still recording, asking for feedback, and making little tweaks that will make a big difference in my mind-muscle connection, in the way that the movement feels, the muscle activation, and of course how much I can actually lift. Next, we went into dumbbell Bulgarian split squats with a drop set. Bro, the way that these are, like, when people say love-hate relationship with Bulgarians, a for real love-hate relationship. Like, the pain, but the results though, So as you can see here, I'm really getting set up. I like to get set up at the bottom, and I'm using a 12-inch bench from the bottom. So it's a little bit better to use a lower bench for your resting foot. And then with this, I'm really focusing on, obviously I'm targeting my quads and my glutes, but I am trying to bias a little bit more of the glutes by adding in a little bit of an internal rotation at the bottom of the movement, and of course leaning forward a little bit. So you can see I was already dying. So I did around 8 reps holding 2 20-pound dumbbells. This is the weight for me where I'm at in my progress. Then I did another 8 reps with just 1 20-pound, and I did that for both sides, and it was murder. I would say if you're just getting into Bulgarian split squats or any type of single leg movements, get really good at the form and building up the mind muscle connection with just your body weight, then slowly add on weights. Once you get really good form execution from body weight alone, then you can start adding on 20 pounds, and continuing to increase from there. As you can see, I was dying. Next, we went into seated hamstring curls, and these I really like to push close to failure. So I believe I filmed my second set, so I already did 1 warm-up set to really just get my hamstrings really more activated, and then I like to increase the weight and really focus on pushing my muscles until close to failure. As you can see, this was literally probably like the 6th or 8th rep, and my face, you can already see the pain. The tension is building up, the panic starts to settle in, and this is when the battle in my mind, the part of me that wants to just no, this is good enough, and then the other part of me that wants to grow knows that I need to push my muscles and that they are so much stronger, and that if I got in 1 more rep, I can get in another one, and just repeating that in my head. As you can see, I wanted to stop so many times. I'm like, you want to stop? Give me another one. And this is kind of just that mental grit that you are building in the gym, and it's doing the hard things in the gym, building your dream body, even just pushing yourself to get stronger will then pour into other aspects of your life where you will have the mental grit. You'll be able to face those challenges because you have that confidence to push that extra rep. At this point, y'all, I did not even want to vlog, but my man set up the camera. He's like, baby, you got to get you stretching. I'm like, okay. It's so important that we are prioritizing our, even if it's just 5 to 10 minute cool down after our workout, to really stretch out our muscle fibers. And I used to find stretching really boring, which is why a lot of the times I would just skip it, or I felt like I was running out of time. But I've honestly started to romanticize my post-workout stretching, and I put on my AirPods. I'll put in a guided meditation or some frequencies or just whatever vibe of music I'm feeling. And I'll set a timer for 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, however much I have. And I'll just use that time to connect with my body and prepare my muscles and my body for recovery. This is also just such a good time to just connect with myself, think about just being in the present moment, not worrying about anything else I have to do for the day, which can be really difficult. But when I am just focusing on stretching my muscles, it really is like a form of meditation, but with your body. Oh, baby, never seen it back before.
Come on.